And this man is very positive, he's a motivational speaker. He travels around and he talks about, keeping us inspired, motivated. And he's also, where's he at? Tony Gates. There he is. I can let him tell his story better than I can. But let's welcome Mr. Tony Gates to the stage here. And talk to you guys for a minute.
Thank you very much. Please don't clap. I so don't deserve it. So I'm the weird guy you guys have seen floating around classroom to classroom, wondering who's that guy. Is he my lawyer? Is he from the FBI? Is he my accountant? No, it's just little old me. Gil, thank you very much. Great program, Jamil, you guys. I think my future's safe. I know sometimes we have doubts with older people. Kind of look around and, what the heck's going on with society. Everything's going to heck in a handbasket. But when I come out here, places like this, and talk to people like this, and see such a good freaking looking group of people doing such great things, I can't help but know that, the guy running my country in 20 years is going to be one of you guys doing good things. The people in charge doing great things in business, in culture, and things like that, and there's no problem here, so my compliments. I also want to say, I'm glad to see the California Highway Patrol here, Golden One, the Boys Go Club, the sponsors. Thank you guys for being here. It's really, really cool to hear. Thank you for taking the time. And I look at it when I talk to my wife about it, it's all about giving back. And we get out of things sometimes when we put into it. A couple things about me. Now, why the heck am I here? Again, my name is Tony Gates. I actually have a consulting practice called Tony Gates Consulting, where I typically work with larger to medium-sized businesses and make them better. So I'm the guy who comes in when they're thinking about laying off people, when the earnings aren't where they're supposed to be, when their leaders aren't behaving right, and I'm the guy who comes in and kind of guides them what to do and helps make them successful. I also do speaking and write books and all that kind of good stuff, so it's honestly my pleasure to be here. I love doing this stuff, and I could do this forever if I could. When Akil asked me to talk, I kind of went to research Promote the Peace, went to the great website, www.promotethepeace.com, and kind of scoured through it. I don't know who your web designer was, but a great website. But one of the missions that really stood out to me was this, and I'll read it. Our children need to prepare for a technical future and global competition, and it's our duty to create options that will give them a chance to be successful in their adult lives. And that really struck me, particularly the part, you're going to hear me say this several times while I'm up here, options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Going back to the mission, they talk about a technical future. Now, I was in one of the workshops on social media and broadcasting, and one of the things that was discussed was who had a smartphone, technical, you've got to be technical, you've got to get on YouTube and things like that. And I totally agree. Getting good technically, getting to know what you do technically, be it on the computer, smartphone, audio, video equipment, anything is a must in society today. And one of the reasons is because, another thing that's talked about here is global competition. And I'll talk about that just a little bit later when I go through a list of tips that I give you, but global competition. We are in a big world community now. And it's not just like you're competing on your basketball team, on your football team, within your community, within your school, but you're competing with kids across the world, in England, India, China, Nova Scotia, Canada, wherever. But it is a big global community. You've got to get good and be good to do well in that kind of atmosphere. So that said, I think I want to give you 10 tips or advice, things I've done as I traveled around to talk to young people about, that to me are harbingers, are precursors, or ways for you to be successful. First, and I teach my children this. I got a 10-year-old daughter named Delaney and a 12-year-old boy named Oliver who wanted to be here today but couldn't. Please and thank you and excuse me. And I'll say that again. Those are the first words I try to teach my kids besides mommy and daddy. Please, thank you, excuse me. Please, thank you, excuse me. Use those and know those. And in fact, I was really, really pleased to meet, I think, Akil's kids and niece, I think, and they were great handshakes. Hello, thank you. It's great. So I'm really hard to say to know that that's going on already. But you got to say please, excuse, and thank you. And one of the things is I kind of get on the soapbox is That three-letter word, H-U-H, Whenever somebody says something you don't hear, did you call me, Please try not to get away from that. Please get away from that. That's one of the things I teach my children as well. I also coach adults on that as well. But saying, as opposed to excuse me or I didn't hear you, certainly does a lot to make you not have the status that you should. Second, read the newspaper. Read the newspaper. People think newspapers are going extinct, and perhaps the print version of it is, but there are online papers you can read as well. I'm a big fan of reading the newspaper. I'm not saying pick up the Sacramento Bee and read it from cover to cover every day. Don't do that. But there's some headlines that you see that may interest you. Go to different sections of the paper and look at what interests you and read that. That's because you've got to be current on current events. You've got to be up on what's going on what's happening in the world, and you can't live in a little bubble. So read a newspaper. Number 3, school, school, school.
Yes.
School, school, school. Not only go every day, but try to do the best you can. Everybody can't be A students or B students, but get the best grades you can. Be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I tried the best. I did the best I could for that project, for that class. In fact, and I'll go back to my autobiographical example with my children. When they finish a project and they ask me to look at it for them, I'll say, is this A work? Is this B work? Is this C work? If it's C work, what can we do to get an A work? Along with that, when they do get a grade back, and it's perhaps not an A or the grade they wanted, to me, and my wife is an attorney, which is why we get all this, that grade you get may be just a starting point. It's okay to go back to your teacher and say, Mr. or Mrs. whatever you are, I got a B on this or a C. I want to get an A. Can I resubmit it? Can I do some more work on it and turn it in later? So use the grade you get if it's not what you want as a starting point, perhaps negotiate for a higher grade. And once you get to college, that'll especially be true. But always try, don't be happy with the first results you get. Always try to do better. Ask for it, ask better, and do better. Next, and I waver back and forth on this, and it's maybe kind of controversial, but learn to wear a suit, ladies and gentlemen. Learn to wear a suit. It is still the uniform for business wherever you are, and I do know in today's culture, suits seem to be minimized. People don't seem to wear them anymore, but a lot of people go to church or go to other functions like that, so whenever you have the opportunity to wear a suit, wear a suit. That way the first suit you wear is not for your first interview, for your first job. You want to look comfortable in a suit, you want to look like a suit is fitting to you. So the best way to do that is to get comfortable wearing a suit and start wearing it. Another one like that, great examples of this today, a good handshake. Learn to develop a great handshake. People judge you. The first 12 seconds they meet you, they've already formed an impression of you. So you've got to make that first 12 seconds the best 12 seconds you can. And you do want to make sure you get ahead and do the right things to be successful. Create the best impression you can. So a nice, strong, firm handshake that certainly doesn't crush you, but some of you shaking those people's hands that have the little fishy handshakes, you know, those who's this person, what are they doing? A nice, strong, firm handshake. As you look that person in the eye and say hello. And another peeve I have is when you do meet somebody, and those of you whose hands I shake, and you see me say, my name is Tony Gates. I didn't say my name is Tony. I didn't say my name is Gates. I said my name is Tony Gates. To me, John Smith sounds better and more purposeful and more powerful than just my name is John, or my name is Amanda, or my name is Amelia. So give them your first and your last name, stand up, look them in the eye, not too long because that's creepy, but look them in the eye and be proud of who you are and give them your first and last name. That actually handled number 6. Number 7, watch your crowd. Watch your crowd. Watch out who you hang out with. I'll get close to make sure you get all the good looking. Okay, watch your crowd. Make sure that you're hanging out and associating with the right type of people. The birds of a feather thing that you've heard is true, and it works. If you're hanging with people who are getting in trouble, get away from them. Distance yourself from them. I know that's easier said than done. I do. I get the peer pressure thing. Again, I deal with it as I was a kid, with the kids I work with my own children. But if there's a crowd that you're hanging with that's getting into wrong things and bad things, that's going to have to affect you one way or the other. I just had an incident with a young lady who got in trouble for shoplifting. And her friend's brother was with them. He got implicated as well. It took him a hard time to talk himself away from the issue. He had to say, I wasn't there when she said she did, I walked away. And there's a big deal to prove that. But still, it made me question his judgment. Why are you hanging around with people who are shoplifting? Because sooner or later, you're going to get implicated with them, and you'll be fall right into that group. Another one is going to kind of surprise you. Learn to play golf. I know, right? Learn to play golf. Learn to play golf. Are we there? Nice. Are we there? All right. Learn to play golf. Here's why. No matter what business you're in, I went to the great publishing workshop. Is she here? And she talked about working for somebody else versus working for yourself. No matter who you're working for, you're going to have clients and customers, people who pay your bills, people who pay you for your talents. And there's nothing like a good 3 or 4 hours on a golf course to get to know somebody and know them well. Know what kind of sportsmanship they have, know how they handle stress, know how they handle adversity, and know how they handle themselves when things are going well. Golf is a great. Plus, if you do go into the corporate world, and I spent 14 years in it before I started my own consulting practice. If you're good at it, all the higher-ups, the CEOs, and the VPs will want you to play with them because you're good. And that's a great way if you're starting out as a young executive with a company to get that kind of visibility. So learn to play golf. And my 12-year-old's great. He and I go all the time. Not like I think he's Tiger Woods, but he can already outdrive his mom, let me tell you. But learn to play golf. Number 9, be a world citizen. And I talked about a little bit earlier how we're a global society now. You're competing against people all over the world. Be a global citizen. There are a lot of great magazines you can pick up and read. The number one in my mind being The Economist. National Geographic's another good one. But magazines that expose you to what's going on in other countries, other parts of the world, other cultures, and become a student of that and be good at that. I would take that further, speak another language. Learn to speak another language besides English. I think we're the only country that is so, what we call xenophobic, they're so into themselves, that is considered kind of weird to speak another language, yet go to Europe. Go to Germany, Italy, France. The indicator of culture that you're educated is that they speak English. That's why you can go to Belarus somewhere, and most of the people speak English. That's part of the education. We don't do that as well here in the United States as we should, but we should. And I speak a couple myself, so I'm practicing what I preach. Number 9 is be a world citizen. Number 10, ask for help. It's okay. If you're having problems with your career, if you're having problems in school, if you're having problems with your parents, if you're having problems with anything, ask for help. It's okay. There are always people who are more than willing and able. As I see Akil and Jamila and the people here, I know that's true. There are more people than you think that are there behind the scenes rooting for you and who want you to succeed. So don't be afraid if something's not coming easy to you to ask for help. In fact, I would tell you that the biggest sign of strength is being able to ask someone for help if you need it. And those are my 10. Again, options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Now, I looked up the word options on dictionary.com, again being technical, on the computer. And what dictionary.com said was options are the power or right of choosing. Options are the power or the right of choosing. The second definition was choice. So my thing is, when we talk about options that give you a chance for success as an adult, I think of power. If you want power, expand your options. If you want rights, if you want the right to do what you need to do, expand your options. If you want choice, expand your options. If you want anything, expand your options. It's what it's all about. Options, again, options that give you a chance for success as an adult. Now, before I end, just a little bit about me while I'm here. Again, I've got a consulting practice. I'm a child of the world. My dad was in the Air Force. We traveled around the world. I lived in foreign countries most of my life. I speak Turkish, Spanish, Italian and German, still working on English, obviously. I was lucky, fortunate enough after high school to be accepted in the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. So after the 4 years at West Point, I went to serve as an officer in the Army, in artillery. Did some great things overseas, including commanded the nuclear warhead detachment. From there, I got a master's degree while I was in Italy, because again, I speak the language, in public administration. From there, I went to the U.S. to work for Pfizer, the largest pharmaceutical company on the planet. Did that for 11 years, had a lot of success there. Then got asked to come work for another company here in California, so I moved here. And then from there, I decided to go ahead and start applying my own trade by working for myself, again with my consulting practice. So I kind of know what I'm talking about in that sense, because I've done it, lived it, and doing okay now. I would also tell you though, when it comes to choosing and options, to see yourself as a commodity. It's something I always say to people. See yourself as a commodity, you're a product. That's what you are. What makes you different, excuse me, I did get puberty, excuse me. What makes you different is that your interpersonal skills set you apart. So I'll say that again. To see yourself as a commodity, and what sets you apart from everyone else are your interpersonal skills. And if you go down to my 10 tips, please, thank you, and excuse me, reading the paper, doing well in school, learning and being comfortable in a suit, that's men and women, having a good handshake, looking people in the eye, watching your crowd, learning to play golf, becoming a world citizen and asking for help, that'll do it. That will certainly put you on the right road. And I see a lot of head nods, adults kind of know. There you go. Are we there? You feel me? All right, good, all right. So, this is all about options that give you a chance for success as an adult. We talk about options being choice. Now I'll end with this. The choice is yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah.